So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market update show. I am your host, the Big Boss. I am your host, the Big Boss. My name has been changed. My name has been changed now to the Big Boss. And I want to just tell all of you, thank you very much for being here with me in this live stream. It means a whole lot to me. It means a whole lot to Sweet Kid Kino. He's here in the corner, relaxing and quiet. He's just going to watch me today operate. He's going to watch me operate for you guys. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that this is the only public service watch announcement channel out there, ladies and gentlemen. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, everything that I have told you from which I'm going to talk about chapter 9 today, because I talked about this subject. I can promise you, I talked about the subject that I'm going to talk about today easy a year and a half ago. And people from the Muppet Boiler Rooms, from different platforms, they were upset because I opened a can of worms to let everyone know about the subject that I will be talking about today. All right? It's a subject that you guys need to. I'm also going to upload that video that I did like a year and a half ago regarding the subject that we're going through at this moment. Through a lot of these Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market channels and dealers, they're suffering. They're suffering big time. But I also want to say that we also have a private watch group. It's under my name, Juan Felipe Nieves, is on Bookface. You go to my name, Juan Felipe Nieves. You go to About. You'll find there Opus and Time Watches, and please request to join the private group. Maybe you'll get accepted. Maybe te meten una pata por las nalgas and you don't get accepted. So it is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, in all fairness, I've told you a year and a half ago. Maybe Alex remembers. Saludos, Alex. Maybe Alex remembers when I said this. I told you a year and a half ago that a lot of these channels were not going to get no more the views they were getting from all these. You did. I do. You remember, right? There you go. Somebody always remembers something, because I feel better that way when somebody remembers so they can, confirm what I'm saying. And I told you people a year and a half ago, because since I am a person that operates out there, we get all the notifications, whether it's by email, mail, whatever it is. You're a content creator, you're going to get information. And I got my information right away, and I looked at it and I read it. And it wasn't to me, because I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do that. And what I mean about that is that the platform, the Google ads, whatever, they send a letter saying that, there's no more going to be 1 and 2 and 3 people running your channel. What that means, ladies and gentlemen, to all you lambones and palomos, that means that you give up your channel to one of these, these companies that run your channel with fake subscribers, fake likes, fake comments, and most of all, fake subscribers. And I told you that all these channels, views and comments and likes were going to drop faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. I told you this I'm telling you, it has to be close to 2 years. And people were going bananas because I said that, because they were not, no more. No, they're still there. They're still there. But what happens is, if you are going to get paid, you're going to get paid, to Sweet Kid Kino, Sweet Kid, more than 2 years ago. Wow, you remember that, Thurston? Sweet Kid Kino's name is there, so he gets the, whatever they say, you $40, $50. That's what you get, from over there. And I told all of you that all these fake channels with 500,000 subscribers, 700,000 subscribers, 2 million subscribers, the views were going to drop faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. Dropping, you know what I'm saying? It was dropping, ladies and gentlemen, and you didn't believe me. And you might be thinking, why are you talking like that? Well, let me explain to you why I'm talking like that, ladies and gentlemen. There's a gentleman by the name of, I call him in a sweet way, Morgan Drew. You know Morgan Drew. You know what I'm talking about? Well, Morgan Drew, ladies and gentlemen, he made a video. And you know, I don't know if it's for real. I don't know if it's a fake, a clickbait, whatever you want to call it, because it's dead. Nobody is watching this junk no more, you know? You know what I'm saying? Nobody's watching. People want to watch people like me, the truth. What you see here is for real. These are real ones. You don't got people watching, these channels that have a live stream with 7,000 live subscribers watching the live. That's a lie. It's a lie, ladies and gentlemen. But this gentleman by the name of, I forgot his name. What I call him again? Please help me out. Morgan Drew. He made a video saying that he was going to leave the airs. He was going to leave the airwaves because there's no more people watching channels no more. Because I told you, all of you, ladies and gentlemen, people were watching all these channels because of the Corona beer. Because of the Corona beer. The Corona beer, ladies and gentlemen. You understand? The Corona beer era, ladies and gentlemen. People were there locked down. People were getting jabs. You know what I'm trying to say? And people were just watching that, And also, you had the combination of the bots from China, from over there, from Indu, over there from Indu. You know what I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen. He has a beautiful olive oil voice. And he was saying that, people no more are really watching this no more. Of course not, ladies and gentlemen. They closed the doors on you. This platform cannot be giving free money out there all day, ladies and gentlemen. Who's watching this? There's nobody watching this, ladies and gentlemen. You got like 300 monitors and they're all on. And, then somebody's watching them. Some people's liking, over there in China, over there in India, pushing buttons, with all those bots and robots and all that stuff. They're pushing all those buttons. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, I might get a Thunder TV Lightning for telling you what I'm telling you. Unbelievable. 13 organic watch channel subscribers and 7 thumbs up. No coman mierda. No coman tanta cativilla, I told you this like 2 years ago, and you can talk to, Alex, you can talk to Thurston Howell III, and they'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that I tell you that these channels' views were going to drop faster than Billy Boy's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse, ladies and gentlemen. And that gentleman, Morgan Drew, he was saying that that's it. He lived off this, You know how many people he said they were watching his channel in the Corona beer era? He said they were watching his channel over 2 million. You know what it is? 2 melons? 2 melons, 3 melons were watching his channel. That guy, Morgan Drew had over 3 million people watching his channel, Papi. You know what kind of money that is, Papi? It's beautiful money. It's beautiful money when you got all these people running your channel. So what happened is those people over there in the platform got smart and they sent a letter out to everybody, ladies and gentlemen. And it said, if you're running your channel, you run it yourself, there's no problem. But when you give it to another person to run it for you, to get you this, to get you that, no can do no more. Esto se jodió, papá. Esto se viró al revés. This turned upside down. But I told you 2 years ago, and you guys didn't believe me, ladies and gentlemen, because remember, Papi, this is the only public service watch announcement channel out there. And I tried telling you, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put this video back up in the air so you guys can see it. They were going crazy. They couldn't believe that I said that. No more. No more giving your channels to another platform to run it for you. No more pigs this Christmas. No more pigs this Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. Kino, no te metas, Kino. Yo no sé lo que le estoy diciendo. Ellos saben ya. No te metas, Kino. No te metas en esto. Esto no es para ti, esto es para grande, Kino. Esto es para grande. Esto es para grande, para mollejero. Tú sabes, no te metas en esto. So, ladies and gentlemen, he was like making a speech, a farewell speech that he's leaving. Yeah, you leaving because, yeah, papi, there's no más dinero, papi. You know, it's like the guy, Deputy Boxing Black Eyes, you know, with the Tweety Bird haircut and his sidekick, Jiminy Cricket, with the Chia Pet spray can hair, you know, has 1,000,000 subscribers. He only gets 1,700 views on a lucky day. He'll get 17,000. No comas mierda, papi. Papi, it's all rigged. It's all rigged, papi. It's all rigged. And I tried telling all of you this is all rigged, you know, that you can buy different platforms to run your channel. But not no more. They got smart, bro. You know why they got smart? Because there's no more PPP loans, no more SBA loans, no more free government money out there, no more unemployment checks, stimulus checks. You know what I'm saying? Protection, you know, check for your employees. Se terminó, papi, no hay más dinero. So when it's that kind of money, they don't care. Money is coming in, they don't care. But when you have to pay for real, they said it's over, no more. We can't give these people no more. You know what it is that you buy. You know, you buy, like I said again, you buy 400,000 views, 300,000 views. You gotta work like I work for my 15 organic watch channel recovering tomato cans, you know? You gotta work hard to explain to them because ustedes son unos lambones. Ustedes son unos lambones. You guys really believe that these people had these subscribers. You really believe that they had these views. You really believe that they had these comments. No comas mierda. This channel is 100, not 100%. This channel is 1,000% organic. 1,000. Only I'm like this. You understand me? I'm like this. That's it. But you need to know the truth. So that guy over there, like I told you again, Morgan Drew, he's saying, you know, I don't know. To me, you know, it's all a sketch. But even though it's a sketch, he's saying the truth, papi. Ya no hay más camello, no hay más plata, no hay más chavo, no hay más dinero, no hay más cuarto, no hay más euros. Ya no hay lira, no more liras, you know, no more Italian liras. No more pigs this Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm letting you know what's going on because you need to know. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's salute the owl. Let's salute the owl so we don't get a TV tower antenna, thunder lightning. You know, salute the owl, ladies and gentlemen. Salute the owl. Salute the owl. Let them know we're here, papi. No more pesos, papi. This is it. Ladies and gentlemen, they say out there that I have made a lot of you smarter now. I have made you more prepared, more aware of your surroundings, of all these, you know, flim-flammers who have been fleecing you for too long, papi. You know, ladies and gentlemen, those people, they want me out. They gotta make me an offer I won't refuse, you know. But these people están pasando hambre, papi. Están comiendo fideo, you know. You know that little soup that comes in a foam cup and you put hot water in it? That's what they're eating now, papi. That's what they're eating now, papa. Before they were eating that $17,000 steak dinner, you know, with the salt guy, you know, like that. You know, the guy's already broke. He's done. You know, the ramen noodles. You know what I'm trying to say. You know, have I had those noodles? For sure. I think I grew up on those noodles, ladies and gentlemen. One time I was looking at my ear and I had a noodle coming out. Unbelievable, but true, ladies and gentlemen. This is unbelievable. What I give you guys for free is unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? You know, these guys are unbelievable. Son unos lambones, papi. Son unos lambones. You guys don't want to hear about this. You guys want to continue getting lied to. You know? You guys want to continue getting lied to, like when your wife is cheating on you and she keeps on lying to you and you love it. And your wife is cheating on you, but you love it porque tú eres un lambón. ¿Tú entendiste? This is who you guys are. You guys want them to continue lying to you because you like it deep. Because you like it dip. You know what I'm saying? ¿Tú entiendes? Eso es lo que hay, papi. Most of you are not going to like this, and that's fine. I don't expect you to like this, ladies and gentlemen. I don't expect you. I'm just telling you the truth. You know what it is, Randy. You know what I'm trying to say, Randy. I say it the way it is, Randy. Son unos lambones. Randy, I pour my heart out, ladies and gentlemen. I teach these gentlemen, you know, I teach you guys how to perfect it, papa. Ellos no pueden conmigo. When they see me, they shake in their boots, ladies and gentlemen. They shake in their boots. The sponsor, my sponsor right here, he sponsors us always. He sponsors us always. This chat right here, the crown, you know. I'm letting you know, ladies and gentlemen. So if that guy Morgan Drew was saying goodbye to his audience. Well, ladies and gentlemen, ya no hay más dinero, papi. No hay más dinero. Let me explain to you something. For every 1,000 views, you get $10. You get $10. For every 1,000 views, you get $10. Imagine what I get. Unbelievable, man. For every 1,000 views, you get $10. Now, if anybody has a calculator out there, you do two melons, 2 million. I'm gonna be kind because he said 2, 3, and 4. Let's just say $2 million. Every 1,000 view, you get $10. How much is that, ladies and gentlemen? How much is that? And me, what do I get? I get this. I get no respect. I'm like the Rodney Dangerfield of the watch industry. But the only thing is that I speak the truth in this channel. And for speaking the truth, you get condemned. Te condenan. Te condenan, papi. They put you over there. They put you over there. And, they throw rocks at you because you're saying the truth. Because the world is made up of lies. So I'm just letting you know that guy over there, that Morgan Drew, I think he was saying goodbye to his people. Porque ya no hay dinero, papi. Tú no puedes vivir. No puedes vivir de eso. You can't. Because ladies and gentlemen, when I will sit down and do a video, I edit the video as best as I can. Sweet Kino did help me out too. Some of those lambones, 2 lambones, doing something that we don't know too much. We don't know too much about Hollywood. But ladies and gentlemen, when we did the video that we edit and we put the pictures and production line cameras and all that stuff, papi, it took us to do. You're not going to believe this, but if you're smart, you're going to go, coño, el tipo está claro. He's clear-minded. To do a 15-minute video, papi, it would take us 3 hours and a half. 15 minutes, 3 hours and a half. To do a 15-minute video, it took us 3 hours and a half. And if we got 3,000 views, you figure out how much it was. No coma mierda. So I felt, Sweet Kid Kino felt that the best way to reach our people was the live stream way. You know what I'm saying? And we did it that way because we're going to reach them that way because esto es una mierda. Esto es una mierda. So the olive oil voice over there, Morgan Drew, he said I don't know what he said. Did he say that he's leaving Alex, Thurston Howell? Did he say he's leaving or what? What's the story with this guy? What's the story with this guy? But ladies and gentlemen, I shared this all with you because you guys need to know. See, we don't want to be, Paco Gambino always told me, he says, Juan, Big Boss, you always tell people what you know, what you have in your head, what you learn, pass it along. Don't take it with you, If it's things a little bit, a little bit crooked, you save it to yourself. But knowledge, pass it along to them. It's all right. Let them know how this works, and no more. You have to let people know what it is. And that's why that guy, Morgan Drew, he's saying he's going back porque ya no hay chelo, papi, ya no hay pasta, ya no hay cuarto, ya no hay chavo, ya no hay chelo, ya no hay plata. Papi, knowledge is power and it's for free. I give it for free. No me importa, for free. I told Sweet Kid Kino, listen, we're doing a duty here. And we don't have a problem with that. We don't have a problem that we have so many subscribers, so many views, so many comments, so many likes. Papi, it's for free. I give it to you for free. But I'm telling you what's happening with that guy, Morgan Drew. If he's looking for a clickbait, that's fine. And if he's not, he's telling you the truth. Papi, esto está jodido. The people from over there, they said, no more. You can only have one person running your channel. You cannot have 3 people running your channel. Because in those 3 people that are running your channel, you're giving your channel up. So they can put their, all the input, that you want. The likes, the views, the comments, the sketch, the film flammer, and you guys go crazy como unas locas. Se pone como unas locas, como unas prostitutas baratas. But I'm here to tell you the truth. You might say, man, how does this one know it all? Papi, I know it all, man. I mean, I do this. Kino showed me all this stuff. Kino's unbelievable. Kino, and dedication, man. Kino showed me everything. It's time for the helmet, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the helmet. It's time for the helmet. I'm telling you what it is. You guys got to get smart. You cannot continue maintaining these people's lifestyle. If they're doing something good and they're giving you something back in return that is positive, like me and Sweet Kid Kino do, that's fine. But if they're only giving you this, no good for you. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's salute. Let's salute the owl at the Bohemian Grove, please. Let's salute the owl. Let's salute the owl. This is the Big Boss helmet, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Big Boss helmet. When I put it on, forget it. And if I do this, it's like, unbelievable. Kino! Unbelievable, this channel. Unbelievable. Salute the owl, ladies and gentlemen. It's unbelievable. We are hated. We are hated out there. You know why? For saying the truth. For saying the truth, ladies and gentlemen, we're hated because we speak the truth. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to leave you with that anecdote of that guy. Must see TV. This is must see TV. This is must. I'm like the guy, the guy that used to do that. That he used to do the illusions. That he had like a cat face, covering, and he would tell people how the illusion was done. I'm like that. I'm telling you how the illusion is done. But you guys son tan lambones que you guys can't even see it. You guys really think that there really are people that have 2 million subscribers and people. Ladies and gentlemen, even the gentleman, toupee wigman with the yellow shoes, pink ripped jeans, green belt, flower shirt. You know what I'm saying? Toupee wigman, skin tight, skin tight little jeans. He's like 86 years old. He says he's worth like $490 million. And if you see his kitchen from his house, and ladies and gentlemen, if his kitchen looks the same way his house looks, estamos jodidos. But he's worth $490 million. And he drives Ferraris and Bentleys. And he works over there with, a night at the Roxbury, the two brothers, One is tall, one is short, one talks a lot, one is introverted. You know what I'm saying? Feet Happy, from Feet Happy over there, ladies and gentlemen. This is not Feet Happy. This is the knowledge channel to drop knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. So whatever that guy, Morgan Drew said, watch out because he's right, okay? Watch out. Ladies and gentlemen, I got another subject that I want to talk to you guys about. There's a big epidemic, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about a big epidemic going around the United States, going around the United States. And there's a big epidemic with the catalytic converter, catalytic converters. These people, they have perfected to disconnect one of your catalytic converters from your cars. It'll take them seconds to do it. Seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Seconds to do it. I wanna show you a couple of things that I want you guys to take a look-see at so you understand. I'm gonna tell you something because most of you don't know about this. And these catalytic converters, you have 3 precious metals that work together. See, nobody's ever going to tell you this, but I will because I'm stupid like that. You're going to have platinum, you're going to have palladium, and you're going to have rhodium. Those 3 elements work together. It's like a honeycomb in your catalytic converter. And all these people out there, there is such a big ring regarding this right now that is a big epidemic, ladies and gentlemen, a big epidemic. And you guys need to be aware of this because it's a lucrative, lucrative business, to get in, the catalytic converters, And there's people out there that are doing this. They park the car right next to your car. They go like rats. They go like rats under your car. And I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, when you let me just show you something, because you guys, lo mío es de verdad. Lo mío es, here it is. That's a catalytic converter. Look at the three elements they have there, the precious metal. Look at them. So you know where you learned it from. You know where you learned this from. I want you guys to continue learning from free with me. There it is. Rhodium, platinum, and palladium. Those three things. Ladies and gentlemen, those three things on a catalytic converter, you have between 1 and 2 grams. 1 and 2 grams of those precious metals, depending on the kind of car you have. It can have between 1 and 6 grams, but we're going to say the truth here. We're going to say 1 and 2 grams, 1 and 2 grams. Rhodium today, ladies and gentlemen, is at $12,050 a troy ounce. You understand me? A platinum, ladies and gentlemen, is at $2,100. And palladium is at $1,700. So these people are stealing this all over the place, all over the United States. So we have a big epidemic with, the catalytic converters of your car. And I'm going to show you something so you understand how this, which way this is going, because this is awful, ladies and gentlemen. It really is awful. When you see this, you say, coño, esta gente tan exagerado. When you see this, let me get you a good one here. Let me get you a good one here. I'm going to get you a good one so you understand what's happening out there. It's not a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. There's no money in the street. And you might be thinking, but Juan, why are you showing this? Because there's no money in the street. And people are doing whatever they can to make money. And when I tell you the little gang that they got, you're going to go, wow, that's crazy. The little gang that they got, ladies and gentlemen, was from New Jersey. And they had this ringleader that he had in sales of stolen goods, of catalytic converters, over $600 million. $600 million, ladies and gentlemen. The business is getting brutal out there, The business is getting brutal. So I'm going to show you something here. If I can get it out for you, I'll show it to you so you can see this Meshuggah, what he did. And you're going to go, coño, no joda. Yeah, this is how it is. You read this over here. That's the FBI. You read that there. You read it there. You read it? New Jersey, baby. New Jersey. And the guy, he said, you know what? I'm guilty as sin. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. Here it is. You know what $600 million in catalytic converter is? And then you take the 3 pieces and you divide them. You get the 3 pieces, you melt them out. You rhodium, the platinum, and the palladium. It's an unbelievable business. They're going to car dealerships and they're emptying the whole lot. Papi, they got a guy. It's unbelievable, this guy. You got to see his face. They got a guy that got on like around with 200 catalytic converters. 200. I'm telling you, this between 1 and 2 grams. It's admission. It's a mission for the, I don't know. It's like a honeycomb and it's in there. All that stuff is all together in there. And this is how these people are making their money. So you guys need to know about these things because, they're not going to tell you. It's all a business. And all those lambones out there, they're buying whatever they can get their hands on. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say names because I don't want nothing to happen to Sweet Kikino because he's the one with all the information. But you have people out there that you won't believe what they're doing, with these catalytic converters. You won't believe what they're doing.
Robert James Daugard of Duluth facing criminal charges in Hermantown after allegedly trying to steal a catalytic converter. Reading in part from the Statement of Probable Cause on February 20th at 12:38 a.m. Hermantown police officers dispatched to a report of a theft in progress here at Audubon Sales on Miller Trunk Highway.
Audubon
Dispatch
Sales.
stated the reporting party is the owner and was watching live security footage showing someone attempting to get into cars and going under them, possibly trying to steal catalytic converters.
Live, this is
Officer arrived
live.
on scene and could see someone running between cars toward the back of the business near the woods. Suspect later identified as Dalgard. Officers ordered him to stop. He continued to run for a short
I don't know where they
distance
found this
until
news
the
guy, but he's
officer
boring
gave
me,
a
the news
police
guy.
canine announcement. Dalgard quickly stopped and walked toward the officer and was placed in
Look
the
at that.
squad
What a
car.
beauty, huh?
Officers
Look at all the
approached,
cars.
an
All the
Audi
cars.
car. The vehicle had fresh footprints near it. Underneath the vehicle, officers could see fresh cuts in the exhaust near the catalytic converter. Under the cuts were fresh metal shavings, and a blue handheld flashlight was still on.
You know what I'm trying to say, right? La situación está jodida. There's no money out there, papi. There's no money. This is throughout the whole United States of America. Throughout the whole United States of America. I don't want to bore you no more with this, situation, but you guys need to know what's going on. That guy from New Jersey, he turned himself in, he pocket, you know what it is, $600 million, man? Let's say that out of the $600 million, that's all buying, paying everybody off. How much money did that machine gonna make? You think he made an easy $20 million? $30 million? Papi, son rata todo, papi. Son rata, son gonorreas. Over there, you should see the ones in Miami, In Miami, you got 2 Cubans. You want to see the 2 Cubans? You want to see the 2 Cubans or you don't want to see them? No, you don't want to see the 2 Cubans. It's easy money, papi. It's easy money, and it works like a charm, And here in Miami, Florida, you should see these 2 Cubans, man. They were cutting them with scissors. Ta! Let's go. Ta! Let's go. Ta! They found them in the house, in the garage. He had like 74. Unbelievable, Super elegante, papá. Tú sabes cómo eso es, Marquito Rubio is going to take care of all of them. He's going to take care of all of them, ladies and gentlemen. Just to let you know about what's happening with catalytic converters. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell all of you, ladies and gentlemen, that smart money is staying away from luxury goods. And in this channel, we have a new catchphrase, like, the ice cold bucket challenge. We have here the no more spending money challenge of 2026. We have in this channel the no more spending money challenge of 2026. Because smart money is staying away from luxury goods, ladies and gentlemen. Just to let you know, you got to keep on repeating to yourself that, ladies and gentlemen. I know what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes I have to, talk in between the lines because we don't want to get a TV tower antenna, thunder lightning. Because right now I spoke to you something about, those robots, they're there. But it's over, papi, terminado. I'm going to put that video back on the robots so you can see them. So you can see what I did for you 2 years ago, and you guys were skip hopping around through life like little rabbits, Parecía unas locas enfermas. You guys were going nuts. I want to go see Morgan Drew. I want to go see Morgan Drew. Yeah, you want to go see Morgan Drew, huh? You want to see Morgan Drew, right? That's what you want to go see. Yeah, papi, no hay más dinero, papá. Okay? So we have the no more spending money challenge of 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to tell you it's an embarrassment, ladies and gentlemen. These people are getting ready to continue flim-flamming you and fleecing you with the Rolex GMT Jubilee bracelet Pepsi with the red and blue ceramic bezel and the black dial. They're out there asking $27,000. $27,000. So this is the best thing I can do for you guys. $27,000. I want you to know that if you pay $27,000 for that watch, I'll make it simple for you. They're saying 27. Let's say 25. You pay 25. As soon as that watch becomes a collector's dream, that watch will go down to $18,500. It will go down to $18,500. Papi, listen to me. The same thing happened with the Rolex Hawk. The Rolex Hawk, beautiful green bezel, green dial. One of the most beautiful green dials in the business. Has it that Rolex Submariner 40mm Hawk. That watch went all the way to $35,000. And today you can buy that watch 16.5, 17, 18, unless you have a unicorn dressed up, and plastics everywhere, then you're gonna have to pay because it's fully, even has a barcode, has a barcode, then you're gonna have to come up with some money. But besides that, that is the number. And the same thing is gonna happen to when the Pepsi becomes a collector's unit, a collector's choice. Is going to drop faster than Billy Boy's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. I'm saying this because people have been asking me about the Rolex Pepsi. If you guys didn't understand what I just finished telling you, ustedes son unos palomos y unos lambones. Once the watch gets discontinued, it's going to flatline, Bobby, and it's going to hurt your feelings because you gave away some money. You could have gave it away to your to your children, give it away, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, you could have given it away, lean back, all the way up, They're not like us, all right? I'm just letting you guys know, all right? I'm going to give you guys a watch market update because this is what you guys are here for. And here it goes, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be talking about our first watch. That's right, 2020. Don't pay more than $17,900. That's it. Don't pay more than $17,900. You pay more than that, eres un lambón. Ladies and gentlemen, our first watch is the Rolex Stainless Steel Oyster Perpetual Beige Style. Reference number 134300 with a 41 millimeter. Oyster Perpetual, the beige dial, Beige dial, full set. Full set, you talking about full set, the beige, the oyster, or the hawk? What are you talking about, Alex? Anyway, this watch, Rolex Stainless Steel Oyster Perpetual Beige dial, 134300, 41 millimeter. Ladies and gentlemen, don't you dare. Don't you dare. No te metas aquí, no. No te metas. No te metas. No, yo no voy a decir ese número. Eso está muy alto. Full set. Don't more than that. Don't pay more than that. Don't pay for the Oyster Perpetual Beige dial 134300, 41 millimeter. Don't pay for it more than $9,150. You do whatever you want, all right? That's number one. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a Patek Philippe Complications. Patek Philippe Complications stainless steel. Annual calendar, flyback chrono. Unbelievable with a green dial, ladies and gentlemen. The 5905. Unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a beautiful, beautiful Patek Philippe. It's a beautiful Patek Philippe. Sometimes I take the, I say to you, hey man, maybe you could think about, buying that watch, And this watch here, it's an unbelievable looking time machine. It has a 42 millimeter casing. It's a complication watch. It is stunning. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, to you people that like Patek Philippe Complications, the annual calendar, flyback chrono, green dial, all stainless steel casing and bracelet. I mean, you do whatever you want. 42 millimeter. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch. Coño, ¿quién dijo eso? Thurston, you said 45. Papi, I'm going to tell you don't pay more than, and that's a good for you. I'm going to give you a clap for that. I'm going to give you a clap for saying 45, but don't pay more than $43,000 in dropping, okay? Don't pay more than $43,000. Yes, you heard it in this channel. Brand, you heard it in this channel. Papi, there's no money out there. I keep on telling you what people are doing to survive, to buy Wonder Bread, to buy wholesome bread, to buy coffee cake. La situación está jodida. People are buying spam. People are buying spam. Not spam, spam, the spam that you fry it. They're eating that with sandwich, with mayonnaise. Spam. Spam is back in style. You don't know about spam. You don't know. I know about spam. I grew like 4 inches one year. I grew spam with fried rice. So you know about that, man. I'm telling you, it's delicious. And ladies and gentlemen, when I lived in New York and we used to go to Food Spot and we used to go to A&P and we used to go to Pathmart, and we could buy a case of spam, My mom would do Breakfast, 2 eggs with a piece of Spam. My mom would do lunch, some French fries with Spam. My mom would do some rice with red beans and Spam. You don't know about that. You don't know about that kind of life. I lived that life, ladies and gentlemen. I lived that life. I enjoy that life. You know what was one of the most important things that I liked when I went to school? I went to a public school called PS 91 in the Bronx, right? Man, those were the best fish sticks I can ever eat, man. They came from the public school in 1972, man. Mrs. Saban's class. Mrs. Saban's class. The best fish sticks, they have never been around ever again. You know why? You don't know why? Because Monsanto seeds took over. You don't know about that? But let's leave it alone. Let's leave it alone. Let's continue on. Let's continue on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Rolex Daytona Le Mans. A Rolex Daytona Le Mans yellow, gold, black dial with white gauges, 40 millimeter. I'm going to pause you guys for a second because I got some pictures that Sweet Kid Kino got from one of his contacts over there for Europe that they send them pictures of the new, Rolex Panda gold, with the black gauges and the gold dial and Jubilee bracelet. And then they had another one, Jubilee bracelet is the one with the Panda, black gauges and gold dial, champagne. I don't know what color it is, But also they're coming out with another Rolex. They say, and they're pretty sure about this. So you people that are looking at these Le Mans, the white gold one and the yellow gold one, be careful because now they're coming out with a white gold one with the ceramic bezel, the Le Mans, but it has a meteorite dial, and it has another precious metal that they're going to use on these Le Mans Daytona. So you got to be very, very careful. No sean pendejo. You're here because I tell you the truth, papi. I give you the heads up. Instead of you spending $20,000 and then you start scratching your ears, and pulling out your wax, I tell you ahead of time. Papi, it's around the corner. It's already here, papi. It's around the corner. And somebody told me that, yes, they're going to have a real big mix-up with the Rolex Daytonas. Just to let you know. So don't pay for that Rolex Daytona Le Mans, yellow, gold, black dial, white gauges, 40 millimeter, reference number 126528. You do whatever you want, papa. You do whatever. Sigue de pendejo, papá. Sigue regalando la astilla. Sigue regalando los chavos. Keep on giving away your money, papa. Give it away like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Don't pay for that watch more. Ready? Don't get scared. Here it goes. Papi, I'm the only one that says it like it is. Don't pay more than $191,000 and dapping. Just to let you know. No, papi, eso no vale 210. Randy, don't pay $210 for that watch. That watch is dropping, papi. No hay dinero para eso, papi. No hay dinero. Hay que ser Tarzán. No regales el dinero. No. Give it to the animal shelters. Give it away. UNICEF, Give it away to the Camila's house. Give it to the Mother Teresa house. Give it away. But don't give it to these lambones. That's a $50,000 retail watch. You know that, right? Or give it to St. Jude. That's a $50,000 watch, papi. $50,000 watch. Do you know how many hands that watch passed to get to that number? It must have gone through easily, I would say a good 6 watch dealers to get that number. No sean pendejo, papi. No sean pendejo. No sean pendejo. No sean pendejo. No sean pendejo. I'm going to talk to you about a watch that I spoke to you last week. And I'm going to show you so you can see how it's behaving, the watch business. We're going to be talking about the Patek Philippe Nautilus, the 5980 rose gold with a leather strap. With a leather strap, Bobby. With a leather strap. Beautiful looking watch. Has a 40.5 millimeter casing. Leather strap with the buckle, rose gold. Una jodienda. But I gotta tell you the truth, ladies and gentlemen. That watch has a retail price of $76,880. When it had a retail price. Because today is a collector's dream, a collector's choice. You understand me? A collector's unit, a collector's grade, a collector's grave. Because the watch market is dead. The watch market is dead in a backyard pool and floating face down like this. Like this. Like a pilot in the water. Like a pilot in the water. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. Cash is king. If you have cash, you control the whole conversation. Don't pay for that watch. You ready for this? You ready for this? Are you ready for this, Christopher? Because I know you like this watch, Christopher. So I'm going to give it to you, Christopher. Don't pay for that watch more than $101,000. 101, Bobby. That's what I got to tell you. That's all. You're hearing it from the #1 watch market update show in the world. Chosen by no other than Fudinki and also, Sachs Goldman. That's it. I'm telling you what it is. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, this watch, I always say that, sometimes Harvard makes a big mistake accepting a student because, reality, he slipped through the cracks, but he didn't belong. He did not belong in Harvard. And sometimes Gucci gets it wrong, with their shoes. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, people get it wrong with Chanel and all that good stuff. And also Rolex gets it wrong, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to talk to you about a watch that, they should be ashamed that the king of watches should be ashamed that they did this watch. And I'm talking about a beautiful, beautiful Rolex. Because it is beautiful, but the timing was off. We're talking about the Rolex, unbelievable. The Rolex GMT, oyster bracelet, green and black ceramic bezel. Unbelievable, with a green dial, white gold, ladies and gentlemen. What a watch. What a waste of talent, What happened to them there? I don't know. But I'll tell you this much. The retail price of that watch is $48,400 plus your Uncle Sam's taxes, ladies and gentlemen. It's crazy. A 40 millimeter watch, Super Dog. Remember the Underdog? You ever watch Underdog? Underdog. He had like a cape and he flew. He had long ears and he flew like that. Underdog, And then he had that chick. He had that chick that she was a dog too. Underdog had a chick. You know about Underdog. Underdog, he would fly like Superman, but he was a dog. And he had a girlfriend, which she was like a secretary, she was a little zitch. She was a zitch on wheels. She was using Underdog. You know who Underdog is or no? You guys don't know about that kind of stuff. Maybe Nelson knows about Underdog, but it's unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch is $48,400. Great cartoon. What was her name, Thurston? The chick's name. The doggy girl, Underdog's chick. And Underdog era medio pendejo, era un tipo medio salado. Underdog was unbelievable, But anyway, let's go back to this GMT. Sprite, GMT Sprite. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. The Sprite, oyster bracelet, green, black ceramic bezel, green dial, white gold. Ladies and gentlemen, how much I'm going to tell you not to pay for this watch? Does anybody know? Papi. And it still has room to drop. Because you're paying here, ladies and gentlemen, it's 38, 34, 35. I wish I can say those numbers already, Brand, but I can't. But I am going to take the liberty to tell you don't pay for that watch. More than $42,000. Oh no, he hit it. Christopher hit it. Christopher le metió un palo, 42. Christopher said it. Ding, 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 Christopher. Ding, 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 Christopher. $42,000. Don't pay more than $42,000. Pay under the retail. Don't pay the taxes. Don't pay more than $42,000. This watch is dead in a backyard pool and floating face down, with a Supreme backpack floating down all the way down the Miami River. Is dead. You do whatever you want. I can't believe Christopher got it. Mi respeto, Christopher. Mi respeto, Christopher. Bravo, Chris. Bravo, Christopher. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another Rolex Rose Gold GMT. Unbelievable. 40 millimeter. Reference number 126715. They call this watch the root beer as it is, ladies and gentlemen. I think about this watch and I just can't believe. Again, you have the normal root beer watch. Yes, 58,000. No, I think it's, well, no, maybe it went up. It went up in price. It's $58,000. It's disgusting. Thank you, Christopher, for letting me know about the retail price. It's gone up. It was 48, then 52, 54, 58. Una locura. Don't pay more than 42. Don't do it. But ladies and gentlemen, this watch is the Rolex Rose Gold GMT 40 millimeter, reference number 126715, the root beer 40 millimeter. They have a root beer, the same thing, root beer with the black dial, with the beige, brownish, ceramic bezel, beautiful watch. But now they have this watch which is called, I can say Lambon, bro. They call it the Tiger Eye. The Tiger Eye, ladies and gentlemen. And people are asking for this watch 86, 87, 88, 84, depending how it is, And I got to tell you the truth, ladies and gentlemen, you're paying for that dial, you're paying $40,000. You're paying $40,000 for the dial. For the Tiger, whatever you call it, the Tiger Eye, you're paying $40,000. No sean Lambone. No sean Lambone. It's nuts. It's nuts, guys. You're paying $40,000 for a Tiger dial, Tiger Eye dial, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to tell you because I'm stupid like that, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not telling you in any form, any way to buy this watch. I'm just going to give you the numbers. Thurston Howell, do you know the number of this? Alex, do you know the number of this? Christopher, do you know the number of this? Brand, do you know the number of this? Nelson, do you know the number of this watch? The price? Come on, let me hear your prices today, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead. Don't tell me 86. Don't tell me 87. No clue. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch more than $76,500. Don't pay more than that. The watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen. The watch market is dead. The watch market is dead. Coño, very well. Good job, Nelson. Good job. You don't pay more than that. The watch market is dead. Okay? Don't pay more than that. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a Rolex Oyster Perpetual. It's a 41 millimeter and it has a beautiful blue navy dial. I'm not talking about a boring blue dial. This is a beautiful blue dial. It's more of a more, it's popping, it's popping at you, it's coming to get you. But this watch has been a sleeper. Nobody looks at it. Nobody says a word about it. And it's a Rolex Oyster Perpetual 41 millimeter, reference number 134300. Stainless steel with an oyster bracelet. You're talking about a watch that's at $6,600, maybe $6,800 plus your Uncle Sam's taxes. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it's a beautiful watch. Everybody's overlooking it. They're not really, they're into that pistachio, the purple dial, this dial, that dial. This is a beautiful, and it's, man, I'm telling you, beautiful. Don't pay for that watch. Doc Mink out of Florida said $8,500, and let me tell you, he's on target. He's on target because I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch more than $8,900. You do whatever you want. I'm giving it to you, people. I'm giving you a nice, a nice watch market update for you guys. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a Rolex Oyster Flex yellow gold meteorite dial, 40 millimeter. Rolex Daytona. Rolex Daytona yellow gold. Unbelievable with a meteorite dial. Unbelievable looking watch. Reference number 116515 with a 40 millimeter. Papi, I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you what's going to be happening in the next, I'm telling you, in the next 50 days, over there at Watches and Wonders, over there in Geneva, Papi, they're gonna open up the gates. They're gonna open up the gates, and you're gonna get, you guys are gonna get caught holding the bag. Y se van a joder. Se van a joder because this watch is dropping faster than Billy Boy's pants in our Arkansas farmhouse. I'm just letting you know. This watch broke the $70,000 range. No more pigs this Christmas. No more pigs. No more pigs. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you because I'm stupid like that. Because you guys need to learn. Remember, Sweet Kid Kino is the owner of this channel, and he is the brains of this channel, and I am the voice. Okay? But the owner of this channel, Sweet Kid Kino, ladies and gentlemen. And don't pay for that Rolex Oyster Flex Daytona with a meteorite dial, 40 millimeter, reference number 116515. Don't pay more than $69,500. Meteorite dial is to get you localized. Do you know what localize is? This is localize. They localize you. Te ponen el paredón. You know what el paredón is? El paredón. You know that guy over there? You know what he told? You know what he told the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, the guy from Spain? You cannot land your planes here. He told him that he cannot land the planes here, The guy over there from Spain, he told him you cannot land your planes here. And, the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, no more pigs this Christmas. No more pigs for you. I'm just letting you know. Papa, you hear it from me. I give it to you. Everything what you need to know, I give it to you. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a Rolex Wimbledon. Rolex Wimbledon Oyster bracelet, 41 millimeter, reference number 12633. I don't know what number that is. Let's say that's what it is. Stainless steel with a gray dial with a white 9 marker. Like a mark on the number 9. White to make it. It's a Wimbledon. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. This is a nice one, brand new one. But don't pay for it more. I mean, you Wimbledon fans out there, you Ilie Nastase, Bjorn Borg, Jimmy Connors, you understand me? Don't pay for that watch more. You do. No, I wish I can tell you 9.5, but I can't tell you 9.5. But I will tell you, don't pay more than $13,200. It's a brand new one. You do whatever you want. There it is. You got that one there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a Rolex anniversary. A Rolex anniversary money green dial, GMT, 40 millimeter, yellow gold, reference number 116718. Beautiful looking watch, 40 millimeter. And ladies and gentlemen, this is an unbelievable looking time machine. This is a collector's unit, collector's choice, collector's dream, collector's grade. Beautiful, beautiful watch. And in that Corona beer era, this watch went all the way up. It went all the way up to $65,000. $65,000. And I must tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you will want this watch full set, because if you don't get it full set, you don't know what you're getting in that watch. If it was basically a yellow gold GMT with a black dial, and they just put their green dial, and that's it, Mr. Premium said $38,000 is a smart man, but I'm going to give you a little lower than that. Don't pay for that watch more than, Alex, you're right. Don't pay for it more than $34,000, and it's dropping faster than Billy Boy's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse, Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. What's happening in the world is unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, here's another one. Here it is for you guys. Let's see where Christopher is at, and Thurston Howell, and Randy. Let's see where Randy's at. Let's see where Randy's up with this watch. This is a Patek Philippe Platinum. Patek Philippe Platinum. The 5822 with a 45 millimeter casing with a blue dial, blue strap. The Cubitus. The Cubitus, ladies and gentlemen. An unbelievable watch. They have been hiding all these watches, these Cubitus watches, because nobody is buying them. No more, no more. They ain't buying it no more. They ain't buying no more that song and dance. They ain't buying it, ladies and gentlemen. And they have this watch out there being paraded for 171, 169, 168, 164. You know, that's the number, ladies and gentlemen. But I gotta tell you the truth, and you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. No hay dinero en la calle, muchacho. Coño, ¿quién dijo 144? Thurston Howell. Coño, Thurston Howell, man, you're on fire today. Coño, Mr. Premium, you're on fire today. You're on fire. You guys are on fire. I'm being honest. I'm being honest. You guys are on fire. You guys are on fire. 148. Wow. Here it goes, ladies and gentlemen, because, you know, if I lie to you, you know, since I don't lie, and Christopher said that right now, read what Christopher put down there. I believe that Christopher put $148,000, right? $148,000 Christopher put down. And I'm going to show you something, because in this channel we show it the way it is. You know, we don't mess around. Christopher, you said 148, right? Let me show Christopher something here, ladies and gentlemen. You know, let me show all of you something here. Let me show all of you something here. Go ahead, clap for Christopher. Don't pay more than $148,000. Do I bullshit in this channel? Do I bullshit in this channel? Don't let this G.I. Joe helmet fool you, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. There it is. Right there, Christopher. There it is. 5822 Cubitus. Patek Philippe Platinum. And ladies and gentlemen, I get happy when that happens. I get happy. I get happy. And I get happy for Thurston. And I get happy for Alex. Was it Alex who said it too? Thurston said 144. Mr. Premium, I get happy. 144, 144. I get happy. But I got to show you the number so you guys know that when you say a number, I'm not going to bullshit and say, I said the same number. No, papi, here it is. That's what Christopher said right there. 148000. Okay? And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you the last watch market update of the evening. And this is another one that they've been having in hiding. They've been hiding this one, man. They've had it in, you know, lo tienen secuestrado. You know, they have him, you know, I don't know how to say secuestrado. And Thurston Howell, help me out with secuestrado. I think it's kidnap. They have this watch kidnap, you know. This is the Rolex Yellow Gold. The John Mayer second edition. The John Mayer second edition, you know. Rolex Yellow Gold Daytona Green Dial. Secuestrado, exactly. So me mito, papá. Gracias, Nelson. This is a green dial with gold gauges. 40 millimeter. You know, 40 millimeter. Reference number 126508. You don't see these watches no more. Because you know why you don't see these watches no more? Porque ya no hay dinero, papa. There's no money. So todos esos lambones, they bought the watch. They started buying the watch at 65, 68, 72. They're stuck with it. They're stuck and they can't do nothing with it, papi. No puede ser más nada. And they don't want to lose. That, you know, I'm not a fan of it either, but I got to show you what it is, Christopher. I really have to show you. And I'm telling you, they have this watch at $88,000. $88,000. And you got to be, this one is February 2026. February 2026, Brad. And they're asking I think it's $89,000. $89,000. And I believe that this is a person that just got it from his AD, and you know, he probably greased up somebody, and he got the watch and he wants to try feel the water, see how they are. But buddy, I got a surprise for you. That watch is dead. It's dead. Nobody's gonna pay you $89,000, but I am gonna tell you, the Captain America, okay? No, this is the John Mayer is a second edition, yellow gold, green dial with gold gauges, okay? I'm gonna tell you the reference number of this watch is the 126508. and it has a 40 millimeter. 85,000, Doc Mick of Florida is saying. Okay, 85,000. Well, Doc Mick of Florida, I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch more. I mean, you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch more than $76,500. So $500 is so you can argue with them. Get them out. Get them out. Don't pay more than that, ladies and gentlemen. That's your watch market update for this evening. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something about what's happening with all these channels losing views, fake subscribers, comments, likes, and all that good stuff. And you also learned something about the catalytic converters. There's a big epidemic in the United States. People are just, taking these by the dozens out there. Right, guys? On behalf of me and Sweet Kid Kino, we want to thank you very much for being here on this live stream. When you guys are here with me, I get happy, and I get happy when you guys hit the hammer and the nail on the head and you get the prices correctly. Again, muchas gracias por todo. Thank you very much to all of you for being here again. Muchas gracias, de verdad. It means a whole lot to me that you guys are here with me, spending, an hour and a couple of minutes with me. Again, we want to tell you, as always, like we say always, take care and brush your hair. Good night, guys. Lo quiero mucho. Good show we had. Good show.